o'clock, we got Pitt traveling to Georgia Tech. Pitt favored by 3 points in this game on the ACC network. How's Pitt's season gone so far? There was a little rough patch, but I'll go over it real quick. They ended up starting the season very well. They ended up dominating UMass like most people expected, and ended up having a 51-7 win against UMass. Then they had a 41-34 good game against Tennessee. It was a very close game. It was interesting either way. Then they ended up having the shootout loss with a 44-41 loss against Western Michigan, which it's not ideal if you're Pitt. And the only reason I'm picking this game is because, technically speaking, Pitt is still in the playoff conversation because their next game, they won 77-7 against New Hampshire. Kenny Pickett in that game went 24-28, threw for 403 yards and 5 touchdowns. Rodney Hammond Jr. ended up having 17 carries for 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Jordan Addison ended up having 6 catches for 179 yards and 3 touchdowns. Georgia Tech's side of things is an interesting story because Georgia Tech is the definition of if they had capitalized on their opportunities and if injuries had not happened, this could be an undefeated team right now. They ended up having a start of the season very disappointing, a 22-21 loss against Northern Illinois, a real heartbreaker. Then they ended up having a 45-17 win over Kennesaw State. They ended up having a 14-8 loss on the road to number 6 Clemson. And then they ended up having a dominating 45-22 win over then number 21 UNC. Why do I say this is, obviously, missed opportunities is the story of Georgia Tech's season? Because you have the Northern Illinois game, which you win if your defense doesn't let up a touchdown, and unfortunately they do. You have the Clemson game where you are at the 4th and goal at the 3-yard line with a touchdown 2-point conversion, ties it and sends it to overtime against number 6 Clemson, and you can't get the deal done. The thing that I'm saying about injuries is, if you did not know, Jeff Sims, their starting QB, went down in the first game, and he did not emerge until they played UNC last week. So, if they had Jeff Sims, do they win that Northern Illinois game? If they have Jeff Sims and his explosive playmaking ability, do they win that Clemson game? And it's just like, Georgia Tech could be undefeated right now, but instead sit at 2-2 and they're out of the playoff conversation. So how did Jeff Sims do last week? He ended up going 10-13, 112 yards and a touchdown. I know that's not some awesome statistics, but this is what he brings to your football team, is his ability to run the football. He ended up having 10 carries for 128 yards and 3 touchdowns. That is how insanely good Jeff Sims is at running the football. That's why he's a necessary part of your team. Malaki Carter also had 3 receptions for 48 yards and a touchdown. Pitt in this series is 10-5. The last 3 have gone Pitt's way, and they've won 5 of 6. So, again, Georgia Tech recently has been dominated in this game, but luckily for Georgia Tech, it's at home. And on top of that, Georgia Tech, in my opinion, is playing better football than Pitt is. I guess they won their only game that was really good. Was against Tennessee, but then they lost the game they should have easily won against Western Michigan. So, this is a team that is interesting. I think Kenny Pickett can keep them in any football game, but I do like Georgia Tech's defense, and I like Georgia Tech's offense, especially Jeff Sims, way better than this Pitt team, but I do think it's going to be a shootout. I think Georgia Tech's going to pull off the upset.